And, you know, there's a lot of time you say, well, they tried their best and it just wasn't good enough. I don't even know if I could say that about this team today. New roster, obviously some shifts occurred after Phase 1. Well, they come in here and it's just a complete outclassing. And I don't know what the answer is, but I agree with you. I think we need to see something unique. We need to see something different. Playing Standard against a team that is 4 tiers above you is just not the play. It just isn't.
I think everyone knows in Feliz as well. It's just that they can't really expose anything else that they want to. Like they also do scrim a lot. They do scrim a lot. It's just the experience gap that is getting bigger and bigger even more. Maybe they're trying in scrims, maybe it doesn't work, so they're not really coming up with something crazy, even if they want to. At the level where they are, maybe it doesn't work compared to all the higher teams. I think they have a long way to go still.
And see the laughs here? So they tried the gamble again, where they were hoping to get the Ballistix ban away from the Genji or the Rainer so they could take one. It did not work. That's why you see the insta-laugh from Dudu right afterwards. And they take the Malfurion pick. Took them a while to deliberate, but they were hoping for a gift here from Ballistix. Ballistix will do no such thing. They will play to win. They will play as if they're playing to kill the greatest foe that has ever existed every time they play. So no, they will not leave the Rainer open. They will not leave the Genji open. And very likely, they will once again take the Phoenix here. This time they take Urel with it because it's not a map where Dahaka can shine in the same way.
I really wish they go back. We did see very few picks of Greymane last weekend. I wish both Glug and also Feliz go back to what they're really good at. Greymane's actually not in a bad place in the meta right now. If you're really considering about DPS choices, and you can't really make that work too well. In this case, taking it away from SCSC. Pretty good choice on there, but I think their real power really stays with that Greymane hero. Maybe it's time to really look back on yourselves and see how did we actually come here to HGC? Through what? With Greymane, some double support, that's a long time ago, but double support doesn't really work anymore. Greymane, that could actually be a thing.
I mean, I completely agree with you. You have to know what your strengths and weaknesses are as a squad. The moment you lose sight of that and you try to think that you are something that you're not, then, you know, that's when your weaknesses show brighter than ever. That's when your enemy team is going to dominate you even harder. It's when you're trying to play something that doesn't play to your strengths. I mean, Dudu is a legendary player. He has been a great DPS for, this is now his third year, of Professional Heroes of the Storm. They've grabbed the Dahaka early. They expected a global to come out for SDE, though that's going to be the false stat here with the Rhaegar. Bit of a surprising support pick here.
And instead they were taking down the tank picks. As for Feliz, I think they're just going to go grab Diablo instead of Johanna this time.
Okay,
with
Void combo.
Zeratul, of course. But they're going way back here.
But I like this. This is a departure from the norm. This is a departure from just trying to play the meta heroes that they're not well versed on. OJ has played 2 games of Diablo. This will be his 3rd career-wise in this phase. In terms of the entire year, it'll be his 4th. Played his only consistent hero actually in phase 1 was the Diablo. So let's see how it pays off. They picked a combination comp. There's a lot of CC here. You can either Void into APOC or you can Void into Arrow into APOC. There's a lot of different ways to make stun combos work with this composition.
Also Twilight if you want to go full wombo combo. I think
yeah.
Either if you go full wombo combo or just not go a wombo combo at all. Just pick Lightning and just the damage from due to 0-2, I think that's also okay. With the cleave, I think it is going to be the BP0. What's happening? I thought I was lagging for a second.
Nah, SDE is just having a good time.
10초 남았다.
I couldn't tell you how that's done, but
4, 3, 2,
that's some sort of special talent he's got there.
전투를 시작하자.
All right, G-Clef.
I think
Let's see how
this
this
is the
level
moment.
one plays
Let's
out.
see. And Ballistix, they just grab comfort picks with the Rel. They have a lot of peel. Even more escapes with Hooligan being down.
Not in stayed here instead of going to the top lane, but he is going to go up now. Window is missed for an early pick. So just going to start working on the top wave. We will see a Phoenix rotation up. Hidden from Feliz. Let's see if the stun connects. It does. Triple rotation up here. Burrow avoids some of the damage. He's going to look for a second Burrow away.
The survive, though.
He survives.
Right after all the CCs were out. There was an early burrow, so he had to just escape.
Notice the bot lane, though. Still being dominated by Ballistix for the moment. Having a wave ahead. That's, you can see it on your experience bar at the top. Ballistix, despite missing that kill, able to do a lot with this. Falstad staying towards the top lane. They are going to trade the camps out at even timing.
They get that rotation. Work for Feliz because, but Yaga's not going to have that global for somewhat amount of time, which doesn't really matter too much because we have the shrine up now on top.
Okay, shrines are active. The matchup between Dahaka and Yrel going to be Yrel favored here. Even if the tongue grab hits, you're going to have a rough time as the Dahaka. So top controlled by Jungha. Bottom will require a big rotation. They're going to stick to the meta move right now that with Dignitas kind of, I think, showed us first internationally, is just try to gank the Dahaka over and over and over again. It doesn't have good escapes, but Hanatan's playing well. What have we here, though? This is a risky situation. Are they going to fail to complete the camp? You know, they nearly did, forcing a bigger rotation. And Ballistix stays up top. They're going to get this healing well. This lane is already a lost lane for Hanatan, but now it's going to be lost even harder.
This is where you start chat. Says, guys, like, are we doing camp? Can we defend our fort, please? I think that time is coming.
Yep. Just seeing the hammer come out here for Jungha to push them away, so they have more room to break down this fort. They have their own spell armor. Spell armor is being traded, but they're not shooting heroes. They're shooting the fort. The fort doesn't get spell armor.
Ooh, it's gonna go down because they had massive sustain as well. Also catching OJ punished a little bit for the late retreat there. And the reason why they were late, first of all, for the rotation, they spent a little bit of a more resource to grab the shrine at the bottom. Oh.
Hooligan is in trouble though. Great toss, excuse me. Hooligan self-heals. It survives. This actually could be a triple kill. Dudu's in trouble. He goes down. Aimer is caught. Hides here, shows himself with a scatter arrow. STE gonna get the blow up. It will be the triple. I'm sorry, Hanatan. All the while, during that time, Hooligan almost got a solo kill on Hanzo. Garrosh almost got a solo kill on a Hanzo. That almost happened. They got greedy, went for the rotation. Were triple killed counter-wise. Now the Dragon Knight is up and taken. After killing top fort, they will now get mid fort. Dragonshire is a map where we see long games, but this game is looking like it might be a little bit different.
Usually a long game. And great punish by Ballistix there. As Garrosh, of course, sometimes you forget. Heal himself back as possible. And sometimes with the great armor, you tend to ignore it because it seemed like, even to me, Zero2 may just get the kill here. Hooligan was actually baiting that, understanding all the damage that was going to come in. Great calculation there by Hooligan. And they also have a global. And with the Falstad joining at the bottom fight, as soon as As soon as Hooligan survived, they turned that all around.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the counter global there.
2 forts with the first Dragon Knight. The first one even down before that.
Yeah, so 3 forts down at pre-5 minutes. I mean, it's rare. We saw it a few times back in the old MVP Black Sylvanas days to see level 10 before 5 minutes, but we almost got there. We almost had the level 10 before 5 minutes. We're going to have it just afterwards. 502. Insta-locks on all of them, minus the Planet Cracker. He does decide to stick with the Salvo. As Jungha's got such a huge health scaling advantage that even 3 members were not going to take him down.
It's hard to get Rail down, and she also has the defenders up now, so it's nearly going to be impossible here.
SC has more health and more damage than he's supposed to have at 5.5 minutes into the game, so can almost solo this camp with no problem. Gets the help of Rhaegar over there. Magi jumps in, and they're going to try to make this a keep wall play. Maybe even a keep, because there's no 10 on the other side. Zeratul is going to struggle to do anything in this 4-man. He's better off trying to defend the Falstad mid-push, which he is doing.
And this is actually the best. You have your support, you have your range.
Spell armor.
Hirel and Garrosh just take all the damage and peel for the back line as everything for themselves, basically.
Okay, Dudu's trying to deal with these Siege Giants. That's like all he can try to do is kill a Siege Giant. He gets one. Well, the second one survives. The Spell Armor is still here with the Wizard minion. Next wave of minions means this is going to be a 6-minute and 20-second keep. As they look to just try to end this game, end the lives of Feliz, they're going for it.
Yeah,
core attack. They still have the Spell Armor. The Wizard's still up. Taunt comes through.
And OJ does survive for some time, so good bait there. Still pretend they don't really have too much. You could try to look for a kill, but still every single member for Ballistix pretty healthy.
Yeah. Ancestral used onto SC to make sure he stays alive. Gust here to make this a 5v2. No 10 still for Feliz. Hanaton gets caught by another stun. The damage coming out from Aimer is too much, though. I think Ballistix is overextended.
Core actually does a lot of damage.
Yeah. They got too close to the sun, and they got burned. Stun here will be the death of Jungha, as Dudu's able to follow his way in. Magi got that extra Wolf Run speed. Looks like he will just barely be able to get out.
And they're going all in. APOC, VP, Twilight Dream. They got to keep down Ballistic, and they are going to massively control the macro against Feliz. Do everything they can to keep the lead that they have. But Feliz, all they need is one team fight, and they need to force a team fight in some way.
Will be a Dragon Knight, actually, from this. So it looked to be perhaps a pre-8-minute win for Ballistix and a perfect game. Turns on its head. And honestly, at this stage of the game, this is the closest Feliz has been to a victory in this series. I wouldn't go as far as to say in the tournament, but in this series. Okay, big moment here for Ballistix to try to collapse on this Dragon Knight.
APOC does catch.
Huge gust from STE, and the damage is real. The silence, just for desperation here. The Dragon Knight means that Hanzo is not doing anything. They're losing so much damage from him being in the Dragon Knight. Ballistix knows it. That was such a great gust from STE.
It was going to be worse, but Leo actually had a pretty good Twilight Dream to silence all of the members of Ballistix, so they survived for longer of a time. What could have been a disaster for them, which they started with their APOC BP combo. If you don't have the arrow and the damage from Hanzo, but you really rely on the damage of Diablo. They were on the wall, so Diablo couldn't really do too much damage. Zeratul, he took BP, so he lacks in damage himself.
Yeah, if you could choose, you would obviously either have Diablo or Dehaka, more so Dehaka in the Dragon Knight, if you could, you know, if the world worked that way and you could idealistically choose. Doesn't work that way, though. They did not. They had Hanzo in the Dragon Knight, missed the damage, missed the follow-up stun from the arrow. Arrow is available now. May have to use it as a desperation measure. Desperate times call for desperate measures, as the bottom push is continuing to head towards core. Ballistix will steal this camp. Finally, that bottom camp is cleared. They may just try to push another keep.
By now, Feliz, they can't even They can barely come out of their keep wall. The bottom is always going to be pushing. All the camps are already controlled. Hard to have the VP. Only on Phoenix though.
Yep. Root does not connect. No APOC follow-up on the VP. Big damage coming into Yrel, so she heals a lot. Big salvo combo here with the Gust. Ice Block delays. Sorry, the Burrow delays all of that damage.
She absorbed half of her HP with that defender. Feliz could not. They were trying to get the kill off of her. That the damage was actually absorbed so much. I thought Jungha was about to go down there.
곧 신단이 깨어날 것이다. 영웅.
They just turned on the heal. They spent too much of their resources on the Yrel there in that moment. It's a tough call to make. You know, Yrel is so powerful in this meta, and it's so difficult to try to figure out how to deal with her. It's kind of one of those things that feels somewhat counterintuitive, where you're like, oh, she's a low focuser, and then we can win the fight, and then she just turns that against you. Once you've already cast your cooldown, she can absorb them.
용기사가 기다린다.
You can't take those back. You can't take the arrow back.
풀어주고 적대를
It's really hard to actually just leave her in the back line and just ignore her and do the damage to the rest of the heroes. Because she will displace you, she will do damage, will kill you actually.
Yeah, I mean, hold that thought. We're
Again,
gonna,
focusing on the Jungha.
yeah, OJ is taking a ton of damage here as well. He's going to be the first to die in this fight. There's just no way out. SDE comes down for the flight, doesn't have the Gust he wanted, but Dudu is just eating the damage here from the auto attacks with so many kills, 10 kills now. Seasonal Marksman finishes at 11 minutes.
Dudu actually does not have Blink because Leo ice blocked and the
Yeah.
and the Garrosh actually caught 0-2 instead, so he had to use Blink. So there was no escape for him that way.
Naughton uses his heal here, but he is going to go down. When you think about... Oh, hold that thought. Tongue grab, but is cleansed. When you think about what Yrel is... Oh, God. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen. When you think about what Yrel is with her heroic, like, if you think about... If you compare it to Adaptation for Dahaka, for example, it's just a way better version where you're immortal while you take the damage. You heal instantly during that time.
Oh?
Okay, Gust here for the disengage.
Okay, they're falling apart. They are... Okay, we can't... If you can't line up your wombo, it's going to be harder and harder unless they have massive BP with the Twilight and focusing on to one. But they're still pre-16. They can't really engage right now. It's going to be really hard. Aimer trying to put out some damage as Hanzo scattered. There's a lot of damage still.
Okay, SDE. You know, I mean... He was the target, but there's just too much peel from Jungha up at the front on this Yrel. Has not popped his heroic yet, so he's essentially immortal. Like, good luck killing him. He's not interested in that.
Isolation already gone. Dahaka before the salvo pops off.
Dudu, very low, taunted, and the core will start to fall. 69, 50, falling rapidly. Ballistix is going to take this series with a 3-0 score. One more kill onto Liu before it all goes down. And Ballistix will put Feliz on an 0-6, 0-18 scoreline.